Spike the Dragon Assassin by Lord 2389. Chapter 2 Garden and White Dove. Spike was walking through the frontier plains. He was still asking questions about the Queen and himself. All he knew about his life was he was born in Celestia School for Gifted Unicorns by Twilight. He became her #1 assistant, although she was always too busy to take care of him, so Cadence looked after him. Once she was done, all it was stacking books, notes to Celestia, and chores around the library. Then, once they went to Ponyville, they made friends. Although it was really like back in Canterlot, he didn't even go to Twilight's birthday. So the day seems to repeat itself. Work, 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 and more work. He never got a break, and even when he did, he either helped Rarity or some of his other friends. So he basically worked his rump off for his friends and Ponyville. And what did he get in return? Betrayal by his friends for something he never did. He works like a slave, and in the end, he gets betrayed in return. Spike was getting close to the frontier forest. He didn't really feel like any happiness. All he felt was rage, anger, and betrayal. His arms were shaking like crazy. He then saw a close tree and ran up to it. He lifted his arms high and threw his arms at the tree with a closed fist. When his fist came to contact with the bark, the tree trunk and the top of the tree soon were separated. The tree slowly came down with a thud. Spike panted and sat down in exhaustion. It took a lot out of him. His vision started to get blurry, and he started to feel numb, and soon he passed out. A teenage dragon with red spikes and green scales, wearing robes, and stood behind a crowd, cheering on as 3 other dragons had ropes around their necks, while some ponies around them, while one wearing red clothes and announcing something. "These dragons are committed with treason against our lovely city. They show no evidence that support them." "He's lying," the dragon shouted. "You have evidence, Shining Cross. It was delivered to you last night." The middle dragon shouted, with green scales and brown spikes. "I know nothing of this evidence," the pony called Shining Cross said. "You will pay for this. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but we will find you, and we will..." The dragon and the other 2 fell through the platform and soon breathed their last breath. "No," the dragon in the robes said as he ran to the stage. Spike awoke, sweating and panting. He looked around to see he was back at the tree.
"What was that? Who were those dragons? And why do I feel like I know them?"
Spike slowly got up and brushed himself off. He checked to see if he was okay. No scratches, no bruises. He was alright. Well, look what we have here." Spike quickly looked to see 2 stallions and a mare approaching him. They looked a bit vicious.
"You gonna hand that stuff over, or are we going to have to mash you up?"
one said, cracking his hoofs. Spike, he had been pushed around by his friends and the town to do work for nothing in return. He wasn't gonna let these random ponies push him around either.
"Bring it on, stallions,"
he said. The 3 laughed, and the first stallion charged at Spike. The baby dragon knew he didn't really have much of a chance, but then something weird happened. He felt different. He felt all his senses growing better and bigger, stronger and faster. The stallion's hoof came down. Spike blocked with his arm. The stallion looked shocked. Then Spike pulled him down and hit him in the head, on his knees, knocking him unconscious. The other 2's jaws dropped, but soon shook it off and charged. They both tried to punch him. Spike worried as the 2 attacked at the same time, but his senses kicked in again. He dodged the stallion's hoof and grabbed him so the mare would hit him instead, knocking him out. Then Spike punched the mare as hard as he could, so she fell to the ground. Spike panted and saw what he had done. He had knocked out 3 grown ponies. Once he realized this, he had freaked out.
Oh man, what have I done?"
he said, worrying of what had happened. He then realized that he had already been banished from Ponyville and betrayed by his friends. He then shrugged it off.
"They deserved it,"
he said before walking into the forest. He walked along the track for a while before he heard some growling. He looked around to see nothing but movement in the bushes.
"I gotta find high ground."
Spike then saw a tree leaning on another, and behind them a number of tree branches, after that leading to a cliff. Spike then saw a crack, and then ran to the leaning tree. He ran up to it until he got to the top, and then jumped to the next tree branch safely, and then repeated until he jumped to the edge of the cliff. He nearly grabbed it but missed, but he was able to grab a gap in the rock just under the ledge. He then quickly hopped up and grabbing the ledge before quickly getting up and running from the ledge just before it was about to fall. Spike was panting again. He then felt weird again, vision blurry and a numb feeling.
Oh, great.
Spike then passed out. You should erase the Drake family's names from the books, a mayor said wearing a dress. Maybe I should, Shining Cross said. It had been a while since the execution of the Drake father and brothers, except one. Meanwhile, as he was talking to a bunch of ponies, a hooded figure was standing on the rooftops, overlooking the bunch of ponies, talking, then used his eagle vision. He looked through the groups of ponies, seeing who was innocent, guards, and his target. He found him right under him. He then stopped his vision and got his weapon ready. He then jumped off the building. Everything seemed to happen in a slow motion. The ponies down below didn't notice the incoming Drake. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw one of the blades pop out from his left arm. A small grin appeared on his face. He then landed on Shining Cross's back and dug the blade into his back. He then flipped the stallion over, seeing his victim's reaction to him. Shining Cross slowly slipped away. You would have done the same for your family, he said. I already have, the Drake said as Shining Cross passed on from the world. The Drake stood up and shouted to the crowd of ponies who just witnessed it. The Drakes are not dead. I am still here. Me, Garden Drake. Spike then woke up again and shook it off but a headache. He was in so much pain and confusion.
Who is this guy? Why do I keep seeing visions? And why am I chosen above all others?
He kicked a rock hard in frustration.
Someone, anyone, tell me what to do,
he shouted. He then started to tear up. He cried and cried until he heard a familiar voice. Don't worry, you are nearly there. Just head east some more. The voice was Queen Solana. Spike slowly got up and wiped a tear from his eye, but then put on a serious face.
She's right. I got to be strong and patient. Then I'll have my answers,
Spike said as he walked on the path. A few hours later, he came to a mansion. He then walked up to the door and knocked, soon to see a brown pony with a light gray mane and beard.
Hey, I was told you could help me,
Spike said, hoping the stallion would say yes. No. He then closed the door. Spike frowned and then walked around the house to knock on the other door. The stallion answered again.
Can I please come in?
Go away, he said and then closed the door.
Come on, man. Just let me talk,
Spike yelled.
Leave me be,
the stallion replied angrily.
No, I have done too much to just give up,
Spike yelled back.
I don't care. Get off my property,
the stallion said.
Please, I had to come here. Queen Solana told me so,
Spike said, all ready to burn down the door. There was a silence until the door opened and the stallion was there. Did you just say Queen Solana? He asked.
Yes,
Spike said, hoping to get a good reply. Come in, he said as Spike walked in, the stallion closing the door behind him. The stallion then signaled Spike to follow him. Spike nodded and followed him to two chairs. The stallion sat in one of them, and Spike sat in another.
So, who are you?
Spike asked. My name is White Dove, and what brings you here, boy? The stallion said.
Well, I want to know why Queen Solana keeps talking to me.
Queen Solana has been guarding the assassins ever since Gordon uncorked the bottle. The name brought up a memory in Spike's mind.
You mean Garden Drake?
He asked, and Dove's eyes widened. Yes, how do you know him?
When I passed out, I saw some visions from Garden's past,
Spike said. Well, I don't know how to explain that, sorry, Dove said. But I bet you don't know what assassin is, do you? He said.
A group to stop some other group called the Templars?
Spike asked and Dove nodded. Yes, but it's better to explain, you see. A huge speech later. And so, that's why the Templars and the assassins have fought for centuries, Dove finished.
Whoa, so what can I do?
Spike asked. Well, first tell me why you have left your town.
I was banished from Ponyville for a crime I didn't commit,
Spike said, his anger rising. Tell me about your life in Ponyville, Dove asked, and Spike did. He told him about the hurt, the work, and the betrayal of his friends.
So, there's my life in a nutshell,
Spike said with barely any regret.
You, young dragon, have given up so much for so little,
replied Dove.
It's just what assassin would do,
he said again, causing Spike to be shocked. Dove got up and walked into the hallway. Spike followed him. Dove then pulled out a lantern, which opened a secret door that led to the basement. Spike followed Dove as they walked down the stairs. He saw a small training area and some white and blue robes with a red belt. They then walked up to the robes.
Whoa, these are cool.
Spike reached for the robe, but then his hand was hit away by Dove's.
You don't get those robes until you have done your training.
Dove yelled at Spike. Spike rubbed his claws, but then he perked his head up.
Wait, training?
Spike asked.
For you to clear your name, you must get rid of the Templars. You must become a master,
Dove said as he walked to a table which had 6 pictures. Spike could recognize the ponies immediately. At the bottom was Trixie, along with a picture of Gilda. They then pointed to 2 more pictures, which had Flim and Flam, then both to the picture at the bottom of Prince Bluebud.
Why are those pictures up here?
Spike asked.
Those are the main Templars that set up the Templar system in Equestria right now,
Dove said, and then turned to Spike and put both of his hooves on his shoulders.
This is your choice, Spike. If you don't, I will wipe your memory of everything I have told you. So, what will it be? Will you come and be an assassin and help fight Templars?
Dove asked. Spike, after a long explanation from his earlier, he now had a clear mind. So the decision was a bit more easy to make. He wasn't so pleasant with killing, but he had to. If he didn't, he may never see his friends again. Even if they hurt him, they were still misled into believing he killed someone.
I am ready to fight the Templars. I will become an assassin,
Spike said confidently.
Good. Your training starts tomorrow. Now, get some rest,
Dove said. Author's note. Sorry this took so long, internet problems. But anyways, here's the new chapter, and the next one will be up soon. Hope you like them. Also, in the story, there will be muskets and pistols in it, so keep calm and tomahawk on.